Right now we're able to hit this plus button and add Pokemon to our database. However, there's no way for us to get it back yet, right? So we're not even displaying it on screen, let alone are we, able to console log it or anything. So we have to find a way to get this information off of the server and onto our client. Meteor has a pretty fantastic way of doing this. So previously we used Axios to make HTTP request to the API, and then they send some data back. Meteor has some pretty cool ways of sending things back using their subscribe functions. And the cool thing about Meteor is it's a real-time database, which means anything that you change on the database happens on the front end in real time. So that information gets sent back immediately. Now, we're not going to be really taking advantage of that in this app in particular. However, I am going to show you how to start subscribing to that information and get it on your front end. So finally, we're going to delete this export default Pokemap and replace it with our own thing. So we're going to say export default, and we're going to use this component that we imported earlier called create container. And this is a function which is going to take params as the argument here, and we're going to make this an arrow function here and kind of expand this out. So inside of here, we need to do a few things. The first thing we want to do is say meteor.subscribe, and we want to subscribe to that publish function. So if you remember, inside of PokeServer, we have imports, collections, Pokemon, and we have this thing called Meteor Publish where we're publishing the Pokemon to the front end. Well, we want to subscribe to that publishing. So think about it like, you're publishing a newspaper, and then like a reader or somebody is subscribing to that newspaper. That's basically what we're doing here. We're publishing from the server, and then the app is subscribing to that data. It's accessing that data. So we can just say Pokemon for our subscribe. Then we have to return this information back to this app right here so we can use it. So we just say Pokemon in here, colon, and we're just going to say meteor.collection, and then say we want that, we're looking for that Pokemon collection, and then just find anything that comes back from the server. You can do so like on the server, so on the publish function here, we could add in stuff to MongoDB like only send in 5 Pokemon, or only send in Pokemon that match these parameters or something like that. And we can also do the same thing on the front end where we can like filter things out. Though just a heads up, if you're doing more MeteorJS after this, which hopefully you are, hopefully you're inspired to, always try and filter things out on the back end. You don't want to send in like a whole bunch of stuff from the server and then filter all of it out on the front end. You can filter a little bit out on the front end, just don't go crazy with it. That's all I want to say. So after this return function, I'll throw a little semicolon in there. You want to have a comma after this function, so there's a second parameter to this create container function. And inside of here, we just want to say Pokemap, just like that, because we still want to export default Pokemap, but we're just sticking this create container in the middle of it. All right, so I'm going to save this right after I add in. I want to add in one more thing, and right after this render function before the return, I'm going to console.log something so we can see this information pop up. I'm going to say this.props.pokemon. Now, if you remember from like a past episode, we used props before to access stuff that we're passing in from app.js to our Pokemap, wherever it is, there it is. However, we're not passing anything in here. So what is props exactly? Well, props is coming from this new export default create container. This Meteor system allows us to pull information from our database and then treat it as a prop inside of our component. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to go over here real quick, and you can see as soon as I refresh that, we have a bunch of information inside of this array that came back, right? So this array is from our database, and it's got a bunch of like our Pokemon in here. It's got Charizard, it's got Magninium, or I don't know what that is. 154. 154. Oh, that's that one starter, like third evolution or something. Omanite, great Pokemon. Mewtwo, and Machoke. So those are the 5 Pokemon that we randomly selected by hitting that plus button that got added in there. So pretty cool, pretty cool. We have the Pokemon on our app now. We just have to display them, which is exactly what we're going to do in the next video. See you then.